Hey, welcome. Undoubtedly, one of the most talked about technology concepts of the last couple of years has been blockchain. Currently, it is still difficult amidst the overblown hyperbole to separate what is pragmatic truth from mere fanciful thinking. Blockchain has been described as everything from the technology that will revolutionize the world economy to the biggest thing since the invention of the internet, no less. I do suspect we have a number of other contenders for that crown, however. Things like quantum computing and 3D printing will definitely make an impact. But are we really heading into the dawn of a completely new way of storing data and rethinking our relationship with currency and wealth? Or are we setting ourselves up for a new tech bubble that will implode under the weight of its own overblown promises? Now, leaving aside the confusion relating to how significant or planet-changing blockchain may or may not be, one thing is clear. Blockchain technology is often misrepresented in terms of what it actually is and what it does. And we really need to understand the technology at the lower level so that we can understand what blockchain professionals do and why you recruit for them. Leaving aside the confusion relating to how significant or planet-changing blockchain may or may not be, one thing is clear. Blockchain is often misrepresented in terms of what it actually is and what it does. Now, typically when you ask people, there are two groups of people who normally appear. And they both have very convincing demeanors when they describe their understanding of blockchain to you. It depends on who you ask. Firstly, there are the uninitiated, and I include in this the less enlightened members of the IT community. And you get answers like, it's just a new type of database, or it's a way of storing data on the cloud. Let me say immediately that both of those are wildly inadequate explanations of blockchain. Secondly, there are the definition regurgitators, and they'll give you the same responses that they've read somewhere else. And the responses usually contain phrases like distributed ledger, digitally encrypted, and peer-to-peer. Now, for those of us who don't use terms like distributed ledger in our everyday parlance, that's not very helpful at all. To think of blockchain in these overly simplistic terms is intellectually lazy at best and insulting at worst. Because to think of blockchain in such simple terms truly doesn't do justice to the underlying brilliance behind the technology itself. It really is, P-word alert, and I'm going to make no apologies here, but it really is a paradigm shift in the way we think about ourselves, our data, security, our privacy, and anonymity. To refer to blockchain as just a variation of a database is like referring to an iPhone as just a variation of an old car phone. As with all ingenious concepts, the answer is going to be far trickier to explain than the question, and so it is with blockchain. If we try to get too simple and too basic, you're going to miss the magic of it all. If I go too complex too quickly, you'll get lost down that rabbit hole and forget why we went down there in the first place. So I'm going to take it step by step. And I'm going to take you on a journey of discovery as to why this is such an important development in human history. Firstly, you're going to need to understand context. You're going to need to step back and look as to how the financial systems of the world have been working so far. Why there has arisen a need for this type of technology. Then you'll need to get familiar with the people and the movements that fired up the ideas behind blockchain. You'll also need to firm up your understanding of networks, your networking knowledge, and you'll need to tune up your tech vocabulary so that you can be in a position to understand what the techies are talking about if you're recruiting in this area. Then you'll understand why block, why chain, and why the currency Bitcoin is inextricably linked with blockchain. And then you'll understand why it actually is pretty amazing. I'm so excited to bring this masterclass to you. If you're recruiting in this area, this should simplify everything and make sure you speak this language of blockchain like a native. Let's go.